I'd also like to thank Chief Fern Jacks. Thank you very much for coming. I heard what you said. If I'm elected, I will continue to hear what you say. I will continue to be here, and I will do whatever I can to make things happen for you. And most importantly, I'd like to thank the rest of you for being here, because your being here means that you care about the political process. And if you don't care, nothing happens. So more important than anything is the fact that you're here and that you care enough to be here to listen to what we have to say. So thanks so much for being here. Okay, so the question is, why am I doing this? As Alex told you, Saanich Gulf Islands is my home. And I have a long history of generations of my family living in this riding. I care about this riding very deeply. But something happened to me in March. I was in Copenhagen at a conference where the leading climate scientists around the world were contributing their latest findings to put together, to take to, that's going to be implemented into the December Copenhagen conference that many of you may have heard about, and that is where all the policymakers around the world, there'll be 10,000 people there, discussing what the world needs to do next, where we go from here. And the information that they're basing those policies on was what was going in, what we input into the conference in March in Copenhagen. At any rate, I was in Copenhagen and I was discussing with a colleague various aspects of climate change, and he said to me, he said, "Oh, I'm so glad to see a Canadian here." That made me feel good. And then he said to me, "What's with Canada?" I said, what do you mean? He said, "What's with Canada? Canada used to be a leader in the world in climate change, and now you're schizophrenic." And I said, I was quiet, I was silent, I felt stunned. I said, "I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. We have a prime minister who doesn't understand. He doesn't understand the complexity of the issue and the implications for the people of the world. And I'm really sorry. And I'm going to do everything that I can to make that change." So here I am. I'm standing here before you today, and I am now running as your potential candidate for the Liberal Party for this riding, and I will do everything in my power to make things happen, to make a change. Because I want to read you something. This came from my son, who's studying in Mexico City, taking his engineering degree. And I sent him an email. I send the kids emails every once in a while when I get really upset about something that comes across my desk. And this is what he said. "Hey, Mom, I just read your email. I was thinking about Stephen Harper's decision, that is requiring Mexicans to have visas to come into Canada, a lot today. People have been bugging me. Yeah. People have been bugging me about the visa thing." He's 20 years old. "It's changed many people's view of Canada and Canadians. Today alone, I was bugged by 2 people, one of whom is a teacher who said," and he translates, quote, "What is with Canada and making Mexicans have to get visas?" Mrs. Riley, "I think that Stephen Harper has been very short-sighted in his decision and will come to regret it, comma, if it is possible for him to regret anything." There's a point here. Stephen Harper is failing Canadians. He's failing the future of our children. He is not a leader. What has he done? In the fall of 2008, Stephen Harper denied there was a global economic crisis. In fact, he encouraged Canadians to invest in the stock market, which promptly crashed. Canada used to be a leader in climate change issues around the world. Stephen Harper's destroyed that. health. He isn't taking the H1N1 epidemic seriously. He's completely bungled the medical isotope issue. He's dumped the Kelowna Accord and abandoned our First Nations peoples. And he's abandoning our Canadian citizens abroad. When we come to research and innovation, what we need for the future of this country, he had an opportunity to ensure that the money from the stimulus funding went into things, businesses, research, consumer projects that would help Canadians wean themselves from fossil fuels. And he didn't do it. An opportunity lost. He has, for his science advisor, a guy who doesn't believe in evolution. The Minister of Science does not believe in evolution. Canada is no longer recognized as a peacekeeping nation. Canada no longer is putting forward the Liberal Party, Ken Dryden's early childhood education and childcare program. It's a tragedy. Stephen Harper is acting with arrogant disregard for the well-being of Canadians today and tomorrow. About a year ago, I went to visit Ursula Franklin. She's my total mentor. She's the first woman appointed university professor at the University of Toronto, and she is a Pearson Peace Medal winner. And this is what she said to me. It's one of the things that she said to me. People aren't equipped to be God. None of us. She emphasized the need for women to become involved because, and I quote, "It is that understanding that women have from doing what women do and seeking out others. They are so much more ready to see that what stares us in the face is that utterly hyperbolic arrogance that damages, that kills the innocent bystanders, whether they are people or nature or birds." I have a vision of Canada as a leader. I have a vision of this riding leading the country and effecting change. To succeed, we must elect a forward-thinking individual into a mainstream political party. Someone who will help lead this country into a better world for our children. I am that person. I'm here. I'm asking you for your support. Thank you. Okay, I think that humanity, the world, is on a precipice. That we're embarking on a new era. And we're in crisis, an economic crisis. We are in a health crisis. I'm quite concerned about the H1N1, actually. And we're in a climate crisis. We have a responsibility to take care of our place, as the Aboriginal First Nations people do, and they've stated. We have a responsibility to the future of our children and our grandchildren. And I will do whatever I have to do to make sure that we don't mess it up for them. And we are messing it up for them. And so I have to keep my ears open. I have to take the best of what we have in this riding, whether it's in climate or whether it's in business, whether it's in religion. I don't care. Whatever you're best at, you come and tell me and say, how can I want you to tell me what you can contribute to making this place the example for Canada in a leadership role. Because Canada needs to become a leader, and I believe that this riding is the most forward-thinking riding in this country. And we can lead this country in a new direction, and that's what I intend to do. And if I don't get elected, I will still continue to do that. critical. When I was at that conference in March in Copenhagen, the scientists have done a lot of work and they have made wonderful contributions. But the next step that we have to take is changing human behavior. And how do you change human behavior? You change it in here. And where does that come from? That comes from our artists and our people of culture. That is absolutely critical, and that will form the most important component on the next stage of where we have to go. We must unite and work together to change people's behavior. It's absolutely critical, and we must support and fund our culture and art to do so. Absolutely critical.
Yeah.